Well, here's hoping that's the end of that. Man, my stomach has been messed up. Alrighty. So yeah, back to the D&D question. I've decided I have to do all of this whole coin thing. I'm gonna do it all right now. Just gonna do it. We're looking for an eager crier. So yeah, back to the D&D question. You think the Lord of the Rings level? I think so too. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the Midgard world up to the Hobbit point, and then go over it again up to the Lord of the Rings point. And then after that, I'll start going in and putting in the Silmarillion details. I think that would be the best way to do it. And then once I'm done with the Lord of the Rings level, I'm able to go back and start actually running it. Because I think a Lord of the Rings level detail is good enough to run it. Well, you don't end up bequeathing your notes to Magni to compile and release to us? Yeah, I'm not going to pull that level. See, he finished he finished Lord of the Rings before he died. No, Silmarillion. Yeah, that had to be finished by Chris. Which, sadly enough, even Chris has passed away now. Which was a real... I think it was like a month or two ago. It was a very upsetting day. I don't know who's in charge now, but Christopher Tolkien might have been a bit stuck up, and maybe not stuck up is the right word. He stubborn is what he was. Might have been stubborn, but he still truly understood the whole image and the idea, and properly gave love to what his father worked on. He didn't do any injustice to the works. He only made it better, and I'm afraid to see anybody else try to do that. So, it was 15 before, 21 now. I think I'm missing one. Nope, I got all of them. Boss of Urko. Dangerous Chef. Not heard anything new on the TV series. Lazy Profiteer. Alright, Researcher's Wife. Alright. Now we need a green cellar to a vegetable cellar. There's the vegetable cellar. And quashed a mosquito. Like Mr. Miyagi up in this bitch. Okay, good brother and a waiting woman. There's waiting woman. There's the good brother. I think he does in one of the... I think he does in, like, the first film, and then he's trying to do it again in the second film, and he can't. And then Daniel does. Is the waiting woman? Here she is. Now we need to do tarot reader to happy novelist. There's the tarot reader. There's happy novelist. Lucky man. The romantic lady. And then tour leader to Bourbon lady. I think the Bajurban lady was elderly. $28 chops. Good. You can speak to the tarot reader in Rihanna after you received from completing Miss Fortune. I'll tell you how many pinewood chop pieces you've missed in each of the regions to help you track down any that you might be missing. Trade your 28 pinewood chops. At any of the shops for sandalwood chop by speaking to one of the chop masters. Alright, so we got our sandalwood chop now. Okay. Let's go. You're scared to give a sub now? Why is that? Because of fast break? He's gonna come out of nowhere? And he'll be in a bloodlust. Alright, let's save. Ooh, 59 hours, we're getting there.
The accomplices of the Senate have been quelled, Your Honor. Our forces sustained but light casualties.
You have leave to withdraw. One detachment will remain here to guard Draclaw.
My lord.
Do you think they're onto us?
It would seem not, though this will make our task more difficult still.
Okay. Anyone you'd particularly like to share the love with? Let me see here. Who? Make sure we got the OGs taken care of. We got like Bong Druid. Is he gift subbed? Is he subbed up? Wonder if it lets you search. And there you go. Good. The man, the myth, the legend is resubbed. Thank you, Belly. Can I just walk in? Oh. Uh-oh. Jules is a pain in the ass, huh? You know where to go. Okay. Brings a tear to my eye. Oh shit. Who would I cosplay as from Final Fantasy? Auron. I want Auron's coat so fucking bad. Balthier's pissed, bro.
Where to?
Come, this way.
It's too quiet.
Passing strange. There are supposed to be guards here.
Maybe you were just lucky, huh?
Maybe you're just optimistic.
Something may be afoot. We proceed with caution.
No time for caution. Step to it. Sid's chambers are on the top level.
Oh, would Toxic Lily go as? I don't know. She's not a big Final Fantasy fan like I am. She doesn't really know any of the Final Fantasy characters. She likes Final Fantasy VII. She liked 10 a little bit. Turn that down a little bit while I'm talking. She likes 10 a little bit, but I don't think she was a big fan of Yuna. So maybe she would do Lulu. Because she thinks Lulu's a fucking badass. And Lulu's totally her style. I don't see her doing Tifa. Yeah, probably Lulu. And I would definitely do Auron unless I lost a bunch of weight. Because I don't have to lose a little bit of weight to do Auron because his coat's so big, but if I lost a bunch of weight, it'd be Vince. It'd be Vincent Valentine, for sure. All right. Gonna give Vaughn a chance to get some more XP here. That is, yeah, Steiner and Blathers from Animal Crossing. Because Blathers has a lot of dialect similarities with you. Like, it's hard for me to explain it, but he words things. The museum guy, yeah, Blathers. You're with him? I feel like there's gonna be another screen cinematic here. Okay. How many levels do we want to go up? Don't think you'll get away with this? We haven't done anything yet. I mean, I planned on doing stuff, but... planned on coming in here and really, like, just wrecking the place, but didn't get an opportunity to.
He's had visitors. One's lacking manners by the look of it.
Someone after the Nethicite?
The XIV, was it? 6 years, and ever since you got back, this. What madness found you there?
Up above us! Drop bulkheads 5 and 8! Be to it!
They found us.
He's earlier visitors, more like. We should lie low for now.
No, we'll use their confusion. We need to find Sid now.
Okay. All that was muted. So we got a mini-map, but we got a shitty one. Okay. Well, I played Dissidia at the end of the Final Fantasy challenge. I had no plans to. Dissidia is definitely one of the non-considered games. Is there like a campaign mode to it? It might be neat to go through like a short campaign where it shows all the main characters from all the games real quick. Like, it would need to like kind of show everybody a little bit. Alright. So red and blue switches, I got it. bulkheads. You need that red one to be open. One hero, one villain. Yeah, that's fair. It depends on... So... Cecil. Does it have all 15? So who did they have from 6? Is it Terra? Because I remember them having Locke and Dissidia. But did they end up going with Terra for that one? It's Terra and Kefka, that makes sense. Man, I kind of actually want to play 6 again. I know, isn't that crazy? After all this bullshit I've been through, I want to play one of them again. So 6 is Terra and Kefka. 4 is Cecil and... who? They didn't go with his homeboy, right? It would have been cool if they went with their homeboy because they were rivals. Seven's obviously, of course, it's Kate Sith. Golbez, okay. Makes sense. For 7, 7's obvious, right? The good guy for 7's gonna be Kate Sith, and then Heidegger is gonna be the bad guy for 7. So that's an obvious pick. Now, did they go for the crazy... So in 8, they did Squall. And did they do Cypher? Or did they do Squall and the Sorceress Supreme chick? They went with Ultimacia. Ultimacia. For the Renoa DLC. Square! I just can't do it! I don't know, Rhino! Alright, I think I've explored what I can. Time to advance! Okay, and then 9 they go with Zidane and yeah, what's Zidane's brother? I forget his name. Kuja, yeah, that's right. Guess FF10, well, it's Titus, right? And did they go with Jekt? Because Jekt is kind of the real last boss of that game. He's like the last difficult fight of the game. Yeah, Jekt is a good call. 13, I don't know who the bad guy in 13 is. They did Lightning, of course, but I don't know who the bad guy is. So here's the question: they got bats or butts if you play the Japanese version from 5? Bards plus X death, okay. So that's 5, 4, and then 3, I'm trying to remember. Because 1's Warrior of Light and Chaos, right? It's Warrior of Light, Chaos. 2, I forgot the name of the characters. But there's like the dude with the headband, and then the Emperor. I forgot his name though. Firion is the good guy, right? That's the dude with the headband in 2. And then who's the Emperor in 2? So we'll go through it one through 11, because I know that much, right? So, see, now you're getting me kind of excited for it. Now I kind of want to actually play it when we're done. So we got Final Fantasy 1 is going to be Warrior of Light, because there was no name for the characters. You named the characters. So Warrior of Light and Chaos, I think, is the bad guy. So, is that right? Warrior of Light and Chaos for 1? We gotta open the red door. Okay, so, alright, yeah, in the Japanese version, Garland is Chaos. And I think in the American version, they call him Chaos. But it is Garland. Garland's kind of like the de facto bad guy for Final Fantasy. He keeps coming back. So, alright, now Final Fantasy 2 is Firion and the Emperor. Now, Final Fantasy 3 is where I'm having a hard time because those characters did have a name, and I think their bad guy is Garland. What was 3? We gotta open a blue door for that. 3, okay, right. So there's no names in Final Fantasy 3. It was unnamed, just like it's unnamed in 1. But it created the job system. The Onionite was available in that, and then the Cloud of Darkness. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would they go with Cloud of Darkness? There was a guy who you get tricked into defeating early on in the game, and then you get tricked into you defeat him early in the game, and then you get tricked into resurrecting him. Oh, but you know what? That's right. The Warriors of Light in Final Fantasy III had to work with the Warriors of Darkness in the other universe, and they came together to destroy the cloud of darkness at the end that was trying to imbalance the two worlds. Yep, that makes sense. And then Final Fantasy IV is Golbez with Cecil. 5 is... No. No, that's right. It's Cecil with Golbez. And then it's Bart's and X-Death, because it was Death. And then they put an... Literally, in the original version, it's just an X in front of his name, Death, because that's uber extra death. 6 is Terra Kefka. 7's Cloud Sephiroth. 8 is Squall Ultimacia. 9's gonna be Zidane Kuja, right? Not the other demigod. 10's gonna be Titus and Papa. What's his name? Jack. Okay, shit's gone bad. With Tifa DLC, that's a good call. Tifa is very likely probably the second most beloved character in Final Fantasy of all time. Like, people love her. So that's 7, 8, 9 we figured out, 10 we figured out. So 11, I'm interested to know what they do in 11. They probably just picked a class, right? Or did they not include the MMOs? Shantato? Shantoto? Toto? I don't even know what the fuck that is. So wait, 11 is who versus who then? But so Shantato is how I would pronounce that. She's of that really small, like the gnome race in FF11. Okay, so she's an NPC. Shantoto. She's an NPC. Okay, so they went with an NPC for FF11. But who's the bad guy then? Because that game was just like ever ongoing and there was no true like beating it. There was a boss at the end that like was unbeatable. Camelon out. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I don't know my FF11 lore that much. 12's gonna be Vaughn and Vayne? Did they go with Vayne as the bad guy in 11? The Brandt, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. After that, we get into 13. I don't know anything about 13. 14, do they go with an NPC in 14 as well? For the playable good guy? Bane is DLC. Oh shit, there's a judge just chilling in here? Oh, he's dead now. Yes. Yes, Tola. Yeah, I don't know, 14. And then we get to 15, so... I played 15, I know 15. I just don't remember their fucking names. So it's the Prince. Why don't I know his name? Noctis, yeah, Prince Noctis. And then, Arden? Did they go with Arden? Yeah. Look. Okay. Man, I got the red doors open. Why is this one... No, I currently have the blue doors open. Oh, is Final Fantasy Tactics in there too? So did they do... That's a good question. Do they do Ramza and... Delita? Just the one from Tactics, okay. Ramza's the biggest hero in Final Fantasy, period. Oh, Typo. Typo was fucking weird. Typo was a carryover title after the announcement of Final Fantasy 15 to keep people interested until Final Fantasy 15 came out. And, like, they introduced, like, a whole, like, Gambit system. Not, like, Gambit system like in this game, but, like, I call it Gambit system, that you fought with cards. Like, you would throw cards at people like you're a fucking Gambit or some shit. So what am I doing now? Am I going back downstairs? Okay. I gotta reach the southern terminal. I have Type 0 too, I just didn't really care for it. I'll tell you why I stopped playing Type 0. Immediately, right off the bat, they're like, we're part of an academy, we're in a skill, and I'm like, I'm out. Peace. Do not want. Summonings in the... Oh, I mean... I could probably name enough that I'll start repeating myself because I forget what I've named already. So, I mean, like, you start off with the 3, right? You start off with your Lightning, Fire, Ice, which are in almost every single game, which is typically Shiva, Ramu, and Ifrit. But Shiva and Ifrit, they pretty much never get swapped out for a different summoning. But the Lightning summoning gets swapped out for Quetzalcoatl in 8 and gets swapped out for XII, I think is what it's called, the lightning horse in 10. Titan's in most of them. Kudras is in a lot of them, which is a bull. Titan's in a lot of them. So there's Phoenix, there's Leviathan, there's Fat Chocobo, there's Bahamut, Bahamut, Neo Bahamut, Bahamut Zero, Knights of the Round, Odin's in there, Yojimbo's in there, so how many summonings do they have in Dissidia? 7? There's 7 of them? Seven. So I'd say if they had to pick 7, it was going to be Shiva, Ramu, and Ifrit. So I'd go Shiva, Ramu, Ifrit, Odin, Bahamut, Leviathan, Titan. Would be the 7 I'd pick. No, they'd probably put, like, Anima in there, but he's only been in 1 game. But they fucking... The answer's Ifrit, Shiva, Ramu, Odin, Leviathan. I didn't say Alexander. I said Titan instead of Alexander. Alexander's cool as shit. I just don't feel like he's prominent enough that they would have put him in there. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. That spoil it? Shiva, Ramu, Ifrit, yep. Odin, Bahamut, Leviathan, Titan. Ifrit, Shiva, Ramu, Leviathan, yeah. So the only one is Titan for Alexander, which I think is a cooler pick. Like, if they told me to pick the 7, that's the 7 I would have gone with, because I would have totally picked Alexander over Titan. But Titan's like in every single solitary Final Fantasy game that has summonings in it. Alexander's in, like, 3? He's in Final Fantasy 9. That's the only one I can think of that he's in. But apparently he's in 6, 7, 8, and 9. I remember him in 6 now. I do remember him in 7. I do not recall him in 8. I kind of remember him in 8. 9, you never get him, I don't think. But he makes an appearance in it. He's in 11 as a boss, it seems like. I know that there's an airship in this game called Alexander. Dude, his best artwork is Final Fantasy VI. What's up, MP? No, I don't have Dissidia. But if ROMs is in it, that means we're going to have to play Final Fantasy Tactics. Which I really want to, it's just... Final Fantasy Tactics is really time-consuming. Kinda like this bulkhead fucking puzzle. It's on PS4 though, right? Like, we're not going to have to play this on PS Vita or anything? PS4. At least it'll look really cool. And the campaign, like, kind of goes through all the characters. Like, this is a good way to, like, say goodbye to all the work we've put into Final Fantasy Challenge. Shit. I do it from the 68th floor, right? And I am on the 68th floor. It's not a lengthy story, but you'll see him. And it's full Advent Children quality. Alright, that's pretty dope. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a fighting game, so I'm not anticipating, like, more than maybe, like, 10 hours of gameplay. And we're stuck over here. We gotta open this door. What was that? 15 bucks from the raid. Thank you so much, Belly. Is that the cost of it on PlayStation? Boom, diddle diddle din din diddle din din. Alright. It's settled. It's done. It's on its way. Thank you for funding that, Belly. That'll be a fun way for us to wrap up the series. I threw an extra $5 for us to get it in physical steelbook edition. So that'll be cool. I'll have like a box we can show off to the stream. Have I not gone in here yet? I had to have. Ugh. Yeah. So, I gotta get south. Open the blue bulkheads. How have I gotten myself so turned around? I definitely can't go that way. We try going this way. Boom. Red door. Red door. Red door. Okay, what about this room? Control. Okay, this is what was missing. I was missing this. I wasn't missing this. There's not a... Damn it! And before FBJ buys me a PS5, bro, the guy doesn't even have a PlayStation 4. If he buys a PS5, it's gonna be for himself. I hope. There we go. This is what I needed. I was going to actually try to grab 2 PS5s and do a PS5 giveaway. I was going to, but I'm not. Because Sony is only allowing 1 per household. They're only doing 1 per household on pre-orders, so I can't do that. Vaughn's poisoning people, that's dope. There we go. Progress. He'll one-up you somehow. Yeah, he'll do something. He'll stay at least 1 ahead on gift subs or bits or something. Knowing him.
My apologies. You bear not the stench of Sid's lackeys.
And you are our earlier visitor.
Yes, a valuable man, one I'd sooner not lose. Yet he knows too much.
What? What happened there? Miss Crystal. Okay, clearly they want me to run up the stairs. But sorry, I can't. I gotta go exploring. You obtain Guild Toss. That's actually, like, not a shit thing to get right now. Yeah, it's an actual technique. So what do we think? Should we do Final Fantasy Tactics? After Final Fantasy 12? Here's the reason why we do it after Final Fantasy 12. We were going to do it after 7 because 7 came out on PlayStation 1 and then Final Fantasy Tactics came out. So like chronological, historical release. We were going to do it in that order. And then we decided not to and continue on through the series. But now would be a good time to do it because Balthier is a cameo guest character in Tactics War of the Lion version. Not the PS1, but the PSP version of the game. Balthier is in there. So now that we've played all of the games that have cameos make an appearance in Final Fantasy Tactics, we could go back to Tactics. Or we could just wait until after we get done with 13, 14, and 15, and then do Final Fantasy Tactics to kind of say, like, we got all the numbered ones out of the way, and now we're going to go do the non-numbered games. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Sid, you know Day-affected Nethicite brought down the Leviathan. How can you persist in this folly?
And you've come here to stop me. I'd fain see you try. Consider your bones, old man. You're outmatched. Pirate scum of the skies. What brings you here? Treasure. What else would a pirate want? We'll take the Dusk Shard. You've come all this way for that trinket. I thought you were above this. What's that? The Princess of Dalmasca come to visit. She's not entirely without merit. A test of sorts for our princess?
You're a babbling fool.
A trial for a Shelia Banargan Dalmasca!
You lust for the stone's power, do you not?
Lend him not your ears, milady. He means to use you.
Manufactured Nethicite, like Bergen.
How could you do this? How could you fall this far?
Okay. We need to think about this a little bit. Get me pulled back up on screen here. Turn this down. Bit of a run-on sentence. What were the choices again? Okay, so in historical order, Final Fantasy Tactics came out on PlayStation 1 right after Final Fantasy VII and before Final Fantasy VIII. Maybe it was even after 8. Doesn't matter, though. So we were going to play Final Fantasy Tactics originally right after FF7, but then we postponed it. After 12 is another good time to play it because in the War of the Lions version, the PSP version of the game, Balthier is a guest character. So now would be a good time, because if we play it now, there won't be any cameo characters you don't know. You'll be like, oh shit, there's Cloud. Oh shit, there's Balthier. And be like, that's cool. Or we can wait to do it after all of the numerical Final Fantasies are done and say, alright, we've finished Final Fantasy 1 through 15. Here's Tactics. Here's Dissidia. Here's the 2 spin-offs we're actually going to play. Or we can do Tactics after 12, where it's fresh in our minds who Balthier is and Cloud and all that stuff. I gotta think about who I want in the party. I think I want Frand. I don't think the numbers is too important, no. Am I able to kill this thing? Yes.
Always hiding behind your toys. Pity if anything were to happen to them.
Hoy! Ahoy hoy! What's up, Winterwind? Kinda did 7 during and after 12 after all. Well, for Final Fantasy VII Remake we did. We sure did. He's evil now. This is Dr. Sid. This is Balthier's dad. He's kind of always been evil. But it's not Balthier. Balthier's been and still is a good guy. Yeah, Sid is Balthier's dad, so that's why he looks like Balthier. Uses guns like they wanted you to with Balthier, but Balthier makes a better spearman. The music is out of control right now. Here we go. I actually can just muscle through this fight.
It pains me to inform you that your time here is over. The curtain falls.
Okay.
Vana, you shouldn't have. This creature. So this is your Vana?
A Shelia Benargan Dalmasca. Just how far will you go for power?
Does your lust for Nethicite consume you? Am I right? I am, aren't I? A worthy daughter of the Dynast King. You would do well to go to Giruvegan. Who knows? You may receive a new stone for your trouble.
Your words mean nothing to me!
The reins of history back in the hands of man. I do make for Giruvegan. Give chase if you dare it.
Hate it when he does that.
Mayhaps you think me remiss, the Lady Ash of Dalmasca? The Sky Pirate Rethus, at your employ.
The Imperial Senate, powerless to resist House Solidor's brutal purge, was dissolved. Vayne Solidor reigned supreme over the Empire. Though this upheaval shook the Imperial Bastion to its foundation, these developments were, to say the least, welcomed by her military. The authoritarian rule of the judges, in tandem with the impending threat of Rosarian invasion, served to foster camaraderie among its ranks. For our part, the Resistance mustered strength in the border skies, making ready for the task ahead. A war to decide the doom of Ivalice would soon be upon us.
Squads Flametongue and Ogrenex are away. All ships reporting in. They're breaking to begin ship-to-ship maneuvers against us.
All hands full ahead flank.
We shall make ready to repel their attacks. Counter-air. Track them as though they were the enemy.
Counter-air, to your stations.
A dispatch from Naldor Command, Excellency. The Sky Pirate has left Arcadian airspace. He makes for Balfonheim with the Lady Ash and her party.
It is good to know the lady still lives. But what of our bid for the stone?
With the stone or without, our resistance should prove an even match for the Imperial Army. These weeks of training have honed our edge.
I pray 'tis sharp enough.
They choose to supply the resistance, yet raise not a sword in aid. What city could do this?
A city of men without countries, pirates of the sea and of the sky. Few are they who would fain lay down their lives for a friend, let alone a king.
The Marquis. He is set on war?
The time approaches when he must make his position vis-a-vis the Empire clear. When he helped you off the Leviathan, he spited the judges full sore. He cannot sit in idleness and expect to avoid a reckoning. The Marquis shares my distaste for war. Yet, if it comes to it, he will show no quarter.
For the time being, we will continue to train the Resistance army. Enough power on our side, and even Vayne may see the appeal of the treaty table.
Yet Vayne holds the Nethicite. What makes you think he would treat when he holds such power? Power enough to sink the Leviathan.
All the more reason for me to support your infiltration of the capital. You said it yourself. The Nethicite is a powerful weapon. I would have you acquire it for me.
I have not said I would give you the Midlight Shard.
If there is no stone, I would have to look elsewhere for aid.
Then you would ally with Rosaria.
As I must. Failure's not an option.
It's just what Vayne wants. He lures the Rosarians and the Resistance to the field, then crushes both with the Nethicite.
I think not. Cid has a stone. We grab it and smash it to pieces with the Sword of Kings. Vayne will be left holding nary a thing. Time is short. We follow Cid. He's heading towards Giruvegan.
Giruvegan.
It is told of in a song of my people. On the farthest shores of the River of Time, shrouded deep in the roiling mist, the Holy Land sleeps, Giruvegan. Who knows the paths, the way to its doors?
Then you seek the Yogg Defour. Deep within the jungle of Golmor, there is a corner of the Feywood where a mist storm surges and seethes.
And that's it. Let's go.
Right.
Not coming, Rivers? Forget your precious Nethicite already?
Cid's words rang hollow to me. I will follow another course.
Ah, another lead then, is it? You're well informed.
I could well say the same to you, pirate.
Hurry it up, or we'll leave without you.
Ah, Vaughn. I've had some of my men check on this Feywood. Best ask what they've found.
Okay. Thanks for the help, brothers.
Fly first, ask questions later. Your apprentice is more pirate than you.
I don't have an apprentice.
Princess Ash, I would hear your heart. If Dr. Cid has spoke the truth, you may well be rewarded with more Nethicite in Giruvegan. Tell me, do you still desire the stone?
I desire its power. I want, yet I also fear. I must protect Dalmasca. I can't afford to fear anything.
Do not forget Nabudis. That is my only counsel for you.
Hear about the Feywood, huh? Wait a minute. Take a look at this girl's outfit. Am I supposed to... She either has a nude-colored fabric, or I'm supposed to assume that what she's wearing is just a strip over the lower half of her butt. Lord Redis, so he's just not a pirate, he's a lord, huh? Place known as the Feywood. Okay. What about it? Hidden trial of the Feywood, which must be passed to open the gate to the Holy Land of Giruvegan. Okay. Yeah, let me see this outfit. It's just like strings going into her butt crack. No, it's a pair of booty shorts a pair of booty shorts with a thong over the top that somehow goes under. It's over the top in the front and it goes in on the back. But she's got a bandana on, so clearly you know she's a pirate. Right, it's a thong on the outside in the front, and then the thong goes in the shorts in the back. Oh no, maybe there's like a thin piece of... No. She's wearing a thong on the outside of her booty shorts. Alright. Alright. I mean, that's not how you do it. What do you think you are, like stripper Superman? Oh, I gotta switch which side out. We're in town mode. That means I gotta be on this side so you guys can read text. So we're nearing the end of the game, from what I can surmise. The guy's name's Odo. Getting close to it. Every time you start a new chapter in the game, I do a little bit of that, like stop and play mini games, and then we do hunts and stuff, and then we advance the story. So we're gonna do that a little bit right now. So what do we got here? We got 2 different stores here. This is the armor. Oh, we're already... Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, I can't even afford. Deathbringer? $22 damage. Okay, so FF12, axe and hammer versus swords. What's the difference here? Oh man, this game's got a huge, like, damage resistance and, like, mitigation system to it. See, all the weapons in the game... So here's what's frustrating about Final Fantasy XII. They give you the optimize algorithm to determine what gear it should pull from your inventory to say that this is your most optimal pick. Optimize, when you click that button, it equips those things. It goes for highest possible values. So that means with the bow, which has a higher top damage, versus the gun, which has a mid-range damage, it's always going to equip a bow over a gun. But guns have armor piercing, so while their damage attack value might be lower, they ignore more defenses and therefore could potentially deal more damage than a bow does. The bow compensates by having a higher amount, but is mitigated by armor. So we're also seeing something else happen here with swords versus hammers and shields. So you can see here Deathbringer is a 83 attack power sword right here that costs 13,700 gil. So it's a very expensive weapon. But you pair it up against the Morningstar, which has 100 attack power, and it's 3,700 gil cheaper. What I'm finding out just now, I'm reading up on it, is the Deathbringer has a very averaged out attack value. It's very close to 83 all the time. The thing about the Morningstar is it has a wide range attack value that they're not showing to you. So it attacks from, like, let's say 50 to 100. So the thing is it can hit like a truck, and it has a high combo potential. And combo is when your character makes an attack. Sometimes they'll attack 2, 3, maybe 4 times with that one attack. So the Morningstar, so axes and hammers have a high potential to combo when swords have a low potential to combo, but their range of value is wide when the sword is narrow. So in the end, everything evens out, but it comes down to your play style of, do you want consistent damage, or do you want burst damage backed up by low averages? And it's all about philosophy. Like in a boss fight, you want the burst damage with the low values, and then when you're farming, you probably want the more dependable variable value because you want to be one-shotting stuff consistently. You don't want to walk up to something and hit it real soft because it rolled bad, and that slows you down. But none of that information is shared, you know? And here's something else, too. This requires license Sword 8, the 8th rank in swords. Morningstar requires the 5th rank in axes and hammers. So this should be 3 ranks higher, and it still does 17 points less max damage. Now, at this point in time when this game came out, Baldur's Gate already existed, which proves that us gamers can handle complex damage calculations. We know that a greatsword and a great axe, I'll say a maul and a great axe are not equal in damage. The maul has a higher average than the great axe. Anyways, I need to farm. I need to farm a lot. 'Cause I need to get him a full set of armor. Belly's like, okay. Man, when are they gonna get the next One Punch, like, dub out, you know? The wife and I love the English dub of One Punch Man. It's fucking hilarious. And they still only have that first season, right? So it seems they might have season 2 of One Punch Man out in English. They got it out last year. I'll have to take a look at that. The wife and I will be very excited to get caught up on that. I need to keep working on Damn, look at all these new quests. I mean, we need to keep working on My Hero Academia too. Wow. Weird how it does the numbering conventions. Okay, so we haven't been there yet. He's in the weapons shop. Haven't been there yet. Back in Arcades. That's back in Arcades. We don't have a... What's up, Mountain Dew? We don't have an orange gem in Arcades. Oh, I'm not even looking at the right thing. Oh, if any developers ever watch this stream, for the love of God, please, if you give like little notifications like, hey, new information, and it's like a list bigger than 10, always give a button that says mark always read. We'll go through and read the things that we want to read, but the stuff that we don't want to read, just, it's an easy thing to do, and it makes people who are all neuro about stuff like myself much happier. I know it doesn't matter, but I have to clear it. I have to do it. I have to. God damn it, why can't I stop? I've come to terms that my whole life will just be an exclamation mark. It's just gonna be there my whole life. Did I sell all my old weapons? I never do in Final Fantasy games. I don't know why, I just never do. I just have this fear of like getting rid of something I ended up needing. There's new magics? Okay. We need to find a place to grind, like, real soon here. Okay, so here's the airport. We have done it! We have passed the 60th hour. Guess what they announced last week? Do you guys remember the whole debacle about why we picked this version on the Switch of the game over all the other versions? Was because they allowed you to do class swapping and stuff like that, which we ended up making use of, so I'm glad we did that. But I think we did. Yeah, I think we actually did. We swapped Vaughn. So the PlayStation 4 version and the PC version did not have the ability to swap license boards. But the Switch version and the Xbox One version did. The Xbox One version supported 60 frames a second with the license board swapping, and the Switch version had 30 frames a second with license board swapping. So it's like every version of this game is different, because like the PC version doesn't have swapping just like PS4, but the PC version has 60 frames and the PS4 had 30. It's weird how this game just isn't consistent. And then for years, after they put out the Switch version, they never updated the PlayStation 4 and the PC version of the game to match the Switch and the Xbox One version. So I was just like, fuck it. And I like collecting for my Nintendo Switch better than I like collecting for my Xbox, so I bought it on the Switch. You know, fuck the extra 30 frames, who cares? Last week they just announced they're putting out a patch, like this week, I think. It might already be out, for the PC and the fucking PS4 version. They added in the changeable license board in 60 frames. Like, it doesn't change our decision making because we would have still been in that same position, but like, god damn it. Alright, so here's this crystal. We can now teleport around. I think if we head out this gate right here. It is Sod's Law, yeah. We can do some farming out here on the steps. And I think there's even a golem out here we need to hunt. Is that Cerobi or Jerobi? I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be a C. Let's go! It's flying, so it's gonna take longer because Brand's gotta do it. Trying to get that combo going. Oh, there goes that dream. What? Oh, she did it automatically. And top me off. Something he did one-shot me. Do not care for that bullshit. Pretty good. The cat scratched me. Just realized something. That ain't doing him any good. Okay, so this side is done. Except for that 215. What's that crazy Mina, huh? Katana, Masamune. I think he's completely done on both sides. He had a lot of overlap, so his got finished real quick. She's completely done. Okay. Let's go to the next map. That thing looks scary and dangerous. Let's fight it. It was super easy. I was gonna say fuck him up, but you did. I'm pretty sure that monster, because it gave me 4 license points, I'm pretty sure that monster is a lot harder than that looks, but the sword I'm wielding has a chance to one-hit KO. So, that's probably what just happened. Here, we'll try again. This guy's giving me a hard time. Get out of the air so I can kick your ass. Let's go. Did it happen again? Just had an idea. Oh. Alright, third time's a charm. Yeah, see? Now it's taking some hits. It's dealing some damage. Don't fight that thing again. Oh shit, here we go with this bird again. It disappeared. Good chunk of gill there. See, these guys are a little bit tough. I don't know why that keeps happening. I keep getting one-hit KOs on it. It's crazy that I'm getting that kind of luck. Will do. You know who I miss hanging out? I'm forgetting the name. Somali, something like that. Used to have a viewer who came out just for the Final Fantasy streams, but they liked classic Final Fantasy games, so I think we stopped seeing them like after 7. But Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they were there for all of them. Yeah, I'm blanking on his name. He had a blue name in chat. He had a blue username. He'd show up every Final Fantasy Friday. One hit, one kill. Brought to you by Deathbringer. Can we get an exclamation point weather? It's feeling hot today. 107 ain't that bad. Good, IR, come. Nos doesn't tell me how much caffeine's in here. How much caffeine does Nos have? Got like 160 milligrams in there. Damn! That other can we just finished was double that. Here we go. I got your number, boyo. What? There we go. Ooh, get me healed. Good double hit there. No, 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 no. Alright, come on, kill him now. God damn. Alright, we got Big Boy down. Alright, let's explore the rest of this map real quick. This should go to a map that connects a lot of the points I've already been to. Yeah, it looks like it. Don't start with me. I can't wait to see all the drama from AQ. Her being confused just reminded me of the first boss in AQ that will mind control one of your characters, one of the raid members, and like make him super powerful and big. And because that first boss is pretty easy, our guild would always try our hardest to kill whoever got mind controlled. It was hands off the main healer and the main tank, but off tank and the support healers, and of course all the DPS, it was free game. So we would just try, nobody would pop cooldowns on the fucking boss. We would pop cooldowns on our fucking allies. And we would do our damnedest to kill each other. And I remember my best bud at the time, and we're still good buddies now. He's busy and it's hard for us to sync up at all. But, he played a combat rogue, and he was like always top DPS. It was him and one of our mages would always fight for first place. And I finally got mind controlled one time, and my buddy, his name was Onryon. Onryon was low on health at the time because he drew aggro and got tapped by the boss, so he was at like 15%. And I get mind controlled, and we would use two Ventrilo we would run the application Ventrilo twice, and we would log into the same server on both, but he and I would set in one room with voice push to talk off, and then we would set in the raid channel as well with push to talk on, so we could listen, but we could also talk to each other, and nobody else in the raid would hear us, and we would just sit there and bullshit. But anyway, so like we'd be sitting there talking, and I get mind controlled, and he goes, "That's it, I'm coming for you, Zig." But my mind controlled, and I'm not controlling Zig at this point. I have no control over my paladin. But for whatever reason, out of the 40 people in the fucking raid, my paladin just turns, looks right at Onryon, who's running at me to kill me, but he's at 15%, and my paladin goes, "Hammer of Wrath," right to the fucking face, and just obliterates him. And he's like, "No! This was my one chance!" And like the AI's just like, "Pwap!" And hit for like, and it was, I had Titan panel at the time, so it would keep records of your best hits, and it kept record of like my biggest heal and my biggest damage and my biggest crit. And that fucking Hammer of Wrath crit stayed on my Titan bar for years and years, because it was like at the time, getting damage into the tens of thousands was a lot. And it was like a 50,000 fucking crit or something. It stayed that way all the way through like Burning Crusade. It took a long time for that record to get broken, but I'll never forget that, man. Like, because we had a theory that like the mind control, the MC would pop on things with high aggro, and paladin healers didn't draw any fucking aggro back then, unless you like just triple critted on a heal or something. It was really hard for you to get kind of high on the aggro range. That was always really low, but yeah. But there was still an element of like randomness to it, but we felt like aggro played a little bit in it. We don't know. But it ignored tanks, though. It wouldn't do the main tank that much, but yeah. Either way, I never ever got mind controlled. I mean, they're gonna do it probably what, like 6 times a fight max, and you run it once a week, and there's 40 of you. So yeah, I mean, like statistically, it's gonna take a while for somebody to get pulled. But I got pulled, turned into Giant Zig, and the very first thing the fucking AI does is just obliterates him. He was so mad. He was like, "This is bullshit." Because, like, I helped kill him, like, 3 times. Like, and so he'd been looking for revenge. Which, of course, healing at the time, I wasn't, you know, I had my fucking healing mace in my hand, and I wasn't really doing anything to really help, but God knows I stopped healing people to try and help kill him. But Ashley getting confused and attacking us right there just reminded me of that. Like, I will pummel your ass. It's not Ashley, it's just Ash. But oh man. And that's about to come back. That AQ's about to pop open real soon here. So we're gonna start seeing that nonsense again real soon. Which is fun. It's a good time. I kind of want to get... I kind of want to finish my classic characters. I want to finish up my warrior. He's only like 10 levels away. Oh well, let's ride this out. He's only 10 levels away, and it's just like, I just don't want to level Blasted Lands anymore. Like, seriously, I'll do anything rather than Blasted Lands. Come on. Do decoy. Just tired of leveling there. So odd. It must have a high... It must have a low defense against the death spell, that monster. Oh, that's what's doing it. I was wondering what's causing the bird to, like, just get killed out of nowhere, and it's because it's casting a spell called Kamikaze. Picking up a lot of quality pelts. I think those sell for, like, 300 or 400 gil, so that's gonna be good. What's up, big boy? I have to say, like, here we are in the 60th hour of this game. I really don't like that the game just, like, walks on its own. Like, when you're engaging with a thing, your characters strafe around monsters just on their own for no reason, and it's really frustrating. I wish they would just stand the fuck still and just fight. Like that right there, I didn't do that. I don't mind if it walks forward towards the monster to, like, get in range, right? Like, right now it's doing it on its own. I'm disabled right now. That's fine, but right there, that little sidestep, that was completely unnecessary, and like, when I'm trying to keep the enemy's health bar on screen so I can track the battle, he'll walk and the health bar will fucking disappear. Took a while to get frustrated by that, though, so... Alright, what's this way? Did we... Wait, what? Oh. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. Alright, give me a quick restroom break here, and we'll be right back. We'll keep working on these hunts.